Hello, I'm Dr. Michelle McGowan.
I'm Dr. Tim Henne.
And we're from the Center for Ankle and Foot Care in Claremont, Florida. And we are continuing our own little series that may or may not be helpful. We don't know. But
Day 3?
Day 3. No, this is day 2 of...
Oh, it's day 2 back to work.
Back to work after our kids' spring break for the coronavirus. So we have our 3 kids. They're doing their whole virtual school, which is going really well.
Yeah, I'm going to go off script here. What do you think is more effective? Telehealth or teleschool?
I think teleschool.
Oh, my kids are loving it.
Really liking it, which is...
And they're doing better. I haven't threatened to kill
well,
a kid in like 2 days.
They're already kind of smart. Just saying. But, so anyway, but today was our second full day back. We were going to give a little kind of blurb on how it's been going telehealth-wise. I had a couple telehealth visits, plus patients that need to be seen, our diabetics, wounds, that kind of stuff. But we did have a couple patients that really...
Should have been telehealth?
They should have been telehealth,
yeah, I had 5,
just for their own protection, their own safety.
Usually could have 2 or 3 that should have.
I probably had like 4 patients, that maybe 3 patients that came in, and they were young, healthy, and had questions about things like bunions or hammer toes, but how they present it via the
appointment
was, oh, terrible pain in the foot, don't know if it's broken, and it just didn't turn out to be that. So we were going to talk a little bit about the types of things that you could stay home for a month and not treat. We have simple solutions for that.
We're going to tell you what to do, and if you don't believe us, you can do the telemedicine thing. There's no reason to come in for
a bunion or a hammer toe.
Agreed.
Because, number one, we can't do elective surgery for God knows when, really.
If we wanted to.
Right. So we'll kind of go over, and some of these things we try our best to keep out of the OR or the operating room, even when there's not a health pandemic. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But first, telehealth. I really like telehealth, but so far the telehealth visits I've had have been with established patients. I had a couple wound patients who they're sick, they're immunocompromised, and they didn't want to come into the office. I'd seen them a couple weeks ago, and though it's nice to debride and clean those wounds out, meaning get out all the bad stuff, it was nice that they were able to take a picture, they were able to email me, we were able to FaceTime. I actually rather enjoyed that.
Yeah, I had, all mine were stuff like, somebody operated on a couple days ago, they went up, they come in and said, let's take a picture, we'll take stitches out later. A couple other ones were like stress fractures where they're doing better, so they really don't need x-rays. Stuff that is good. But again, they were all patients of ours, so it was easy.
Yeah, established patients are easy for telehealth.
New people are a little trickier because nobody wants to go on. Oh, by the way, if anyone comments on this, what's the best way to do telehealth? Because what I learned today,
I want to know that too.
After doing 5, is people are really good with cell phone, email, and FaceTime. And apparently I'm the only one who knows how to use Skype and WhatsApp.
But the reason this is important...
Yeah, because I don't know what's good for you guys.
I think the reason this is important is that there are so many EMRs, electronic medical record companies, that are trying to make billions of dollars
we don't need any of that.
Off of doctors, off of patients, because the cost trickles down to everyone, right? And the reality is, things like iPhone, FaceTime, I mean...
I did 4 of those today. It was easy.
If we even think about what HIPAA, the Health Information Portability and Patient Protection Act is really all about, is about if you're diagnosed with cancer or something horrible and you don't want your friends, family, neighbors to know or whatever, the doctor can't tell them that. But the reality is...
And there should be an anti-HIPAA thing. HIPAA laws got to change after this.
I think they have to change after this because there's nothing wrong to be able to talk to a patient. I mean, I literally, one patient, he was elderly, he had a wound, he didn't want to come in, he had his wife take a picture, they sent me the pictures via email, I called him back, I explained everything to him, and he felt good, and everything looked pretty good, so I was happy he didn't have to come into the office.
Yeah, no,
correct?
Absolutely.
But so, if you're somebody who is considering calling a doctor, would you FaceTime your doctor?
What's the best way for you guys?
Email? Would you be more comfortable with texting back and forth? Because I guarantee there is probably some brilliant teenager that could figure out an app that's completely HIPAA compliant that would cost doctors probably $4 a month.
Yeah, my IT staff, aka my 3 daughters, have said FaceTime's the easiest.
Right.
Because when they use their iPad, they hit the screen. Because the patient is like, no, just tell her to. It's embarrassing. Just tell her to hit the screen. Because she was talking to me, she hit the other button and went right to her foot. And she shows, it worked great. It was an ingrown nail follow up. So I could look at her, then she hit the button and it looked right at her foot. She's like, I didn't have to move it. This is awesome. So
the problem is we live in this era of disinformation, because I've read, once I heard that telehealth was something that we could possibly help our patients out, decrease having people in the waiting room, I did tons of research. I've found I've found actually peer-reviewed white paper literature that says FaceTime is absolutely HIPAA compliant. And then I found other articles that said, no, who do you believe?
Exactly.
It's horrible. But anyway, I'm happy to be able to help patients this way and decrease, hopefully, the spread of the coronavirus by not having people that either might be sick.
It worked great for me.
Yeah. So that's our little blurb about the day. My other little blurb was that the patient I talked about.
Oh my God.
Actually,
he made it to the hospital.
He made it to the hospital. And it was funny because I told Dr. Henne that I called the hospital at like 10 a.m. after I talked to the patient's wife. And I said, hey, I need to add this guy to the OR schedule. And they said, what time do you want? And I knew I had patients till noon. I said, anytime after 1. And she's like, all right, 1. I was like, I didn't make it there by 1. How about what? Normally, when you're a podiatrist...
You ask for 1, that means 6.
When you're a podiatrist, you ask for OR time. They're like, how about 5 or your patient can die? I mean, so it was pretty funny. She said, we're not doing any elective cases. So your type of cases are the type of cases that we have to put on. Because if you're talking about somebody losing a limb. So at 1:30, I went to the Villages, Florida, which is probably something you'll start to heal. If you're not from...
I forgot you were up there.
From the Villages, Florida. It's a really large, very popular retirement community here in Florida. But it's a lot of smart people, I think, that live in the Villages. Smart, healthy. It's a different, active, healthy. So hopefully, knock on wood, everything's okay for those patients. But you take precautions. You wash your hands like crazy. You change your scrubs. You use shoes protectors. You use your masks and whatever, and hope everything is okay. But yeah, that was fun to go there and come back. What we wanted to talk about a little bit today, real quick, is, like I said, we had a couple of patients
we
that
both
were...
had a couple of these today that they came in with severe foot pain.
And then it turned out to be a bunion. A bunion is when you have a deformity, and maybe I'll put some pictures in a little blog about this, but it's basically a deformity in the great toe joint. I had a bunion and a hammer toe, yeah, too. But it's a deformity in your big toe joint. This is my hand, obviously I know that, but I'm not very flexible.
Would you like me to bring my foot up again?
Yeah, bring your foot up.
Right,
let's do this. He doesn't have a bunion.
Like showing my yoga toes.
God, I don't know if his feet are
backwards.
But
there we go.
yeah, that's probably it. So, oh God, yeah, this is so gross for me. And I'm a foot doctor. So, your big toe. Some people come in and they have a big old bump right here.
Right.
And the toe's kind of like this. Sometimes it pushes the toe out. And sometimes you can even get a little hammer toe, because this toe pushes this toe over and then up. So it's a deformity of the foot that usually can be from... Relax. It can usually be from... hereditary. It can be a family. But more often than not, sometimes it's just from wearing bad shoes when you were younger. And for us, we're very overly aggressive, conservative podiatrists. We know we're trained surgically. We do surgery. Some of our counterparts are really quick that when people come in with a bunion, they actually treat it like it's the coronavirus and it has to be taken care of. Bunions, you can, in my opinion, number one treatment for bunions is...
I tell everybody, you have 2 options. You adjust your shoes.
Wider shoes. That's the number one.
Or we adjust your foot. All surgery is you either adjust your shoes so it doesn't hurt, or we adjust your foot, we call it surgery, to wear your bad shoes.
Yeah, but for surgery, we cut the bone, push it over, put a screw in it. You have to wear a funny shoe for 6 to 8 weeks, depending on your swelling. Or you can just go in a wider shoe, and I'd say 75% of the time, going in a wider shoe, like a big old fat New Balance mesh sneaker, Brooks, Hoka, whatever.
America, for the next 21 days, we're going to do a foot quarantine. Wear wider shoes. Yeah, you're not getting your bunion fixed.
Hashtag foot quarantine.
Foot quarantine.
Yeah, I agree with that because just wear wider shoes. If you
figure it
got a
out
hammer
later.
toe, they make shoes that are called extra width, extra depth shoes. So they're a little wider, they're a little deeper. Our diabetic patients wear them.
And most shoe
Sometimes you
companies have
gotta
the
tell
real
them.
soft ones, the little knit ones, real soft tops.
But I think if you go into a mesh shoe and you have a bunion or a hammer toe,
You'll be fine.
you're gonna live, really. So it's probably not a great idea to go in your podiatrist's office for hammer toe or bunion, because why?
Because you want the coronavirus, you want to give it to somebody. That's
There's just no reason. So don't go to your podiatrist. Don't go to your foot and ankle surgeon or
but if you're not
orthopedist
sure,
if they do
telemedicine,
surgery for that.
It's easy, yeah.
If you really have a question like, oh, what do I do for this foot? I know it'll suck to get charged for a visit for somebody to tell you wear a wider shoe.
But we just told you, so save your money.
Yeah, so save your money. I wouldn't even go.
Give it a couple months.
Give it a couple months, wider shoes. And then, you know what? On the other end of the whole coronavirus thing, if you wind up wearing a wider shoe, it still hurts, you have deep joint pain, in a month or two, go to your podiatrist or your foot and ankle orthopedic. I don't care. I'm not trying, but mainly podiatrist because that's what we're trained to do. But some places they don't have podiatrists. It's not like there's tons and tons of podiatrists. Anyway, but then in 2 months, go see your podiatrist, and if it's not, they can X-ray. They'll tell you all the angles and dangles, what has to be done, and you get it fixed then.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
All right. So funny, we just finished yard time. We call in jail yard time with the
kids.
kids.
Kids, it's telemedicine, screen damage.
Yeah, we did family forced
exercise
time
tonight.
So that was fun because our kids really love that. We have a kid that's. Do you want to be
Would
here?
you like to say hi?
Just say hi.
I lost my only good pencil.
All right, we'll find you
There's
one.
tons of pencils. This is the problem with homeschooling kids.
Pause, we're almost done.
All right. So anyway, stay safe. Wash your hands, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.